bold journalism,
But Drew Hernandez is a strong-minded individual.
exposing lawlessness,
Drew Hernandez, who is ideological,
finding the truth,
and use the word Antifa.
This is what they do.
battling
They're
mainstream
liars. The woke mob, all they can do is lie.
These are the front lines.
What's going on, Thought Criminals? Welcome to Frontlines. I am your host, Drew Hernandez. Hope you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving. Got to spend time with friends, family, and loved ones. And, I know I gotta, get back into the gym for, some obvious reasons, but that's just how the holidays go, right? Well, that's America, but not everyone is enjoying freedom during this holiday season. The footage coming out of communist China, the CCP cracking down on its own people, like always, is absolutely wild and insane. What's even crazier is the response that we're seeing from Americans here in the United States that are the SJWs that care so much about freedoms and rights and civil rights, but never say a damn word about the CCP and how they treat their own people. Whenever there's real tyranny seen in real time, these people are silent and they actually defend it. And the war between Elon Musk and big tech is intensifying. We're going to cover that as well. But today is technically Cyber Monday, so TPUSA's Black Friday deal is continuing today for America Fest. It's the last day to get general admission for $20 and 50% off VIP. So go to amfest.com for the special deal right now. Go right now. Do it. Welcome to Frontlines. My name is Drew Hernandez. Let's get straight into this. So this footage, you guys, all right, and I know a lot of people, we've been seeing online, some people are saying, is this propaganda? Is this real? One thing we do know about the CCP is they do not want, any authoritarian regime does not want imagery, videos coming out to the public that make them look bad, that make them look like the people are rising up against them. Whenever you see some kind of totalitarian regime, whether it's the commies, the Nazis, the socialists, you name it, the propaganda is designed to make them look good, okay? Or a false flag to give them an excuse to crack down on their people and destroy them. One thing we do know is that we have been seeing the images and the videos coming out of communist China, of the people rising up against the CCP, calling for their freedoms, willing to put their lives on the line. So in my book, I think wherever, and I've said this a lot on the show, is that the spirit of freedom, it transcends race, it transcends culture, it transcends skin color, transcends language. The spirit of freedom transcends borderlines, countries, continents, because God has given us the spirit of freedom. God has given us our God-given inalienable rights. That's why the founding fathers of this country identified it as such. So when you see this happening across the world, we have to support people that are putting their lives on the line, that are coming up, they're speaking out, they're shouting out, they're putting themselves out to oppose tyranny. We have to support that, even if it's just like a group of 5 people. Because I've had people, message me or come out and tell me, oh, it just seems like a small group of radicals. Dude, even if it's one person standing up against the tyrannical CCP, I will support that person. Regardless of where it is you see on planet Earth, if you are one man or one woman standing and spitting in the face of the devil to oppose tyranny, you shall be supported by other free-loving patriots across the entire globe. Some of the messages that have been shouted by these demonstrators are, we need human rights, we need freedom. They don't want the COVID test. This is all about lockdowns continuing at the epicenter of this in China. They're saying that they don't want dictatorships. They want democracy. They are saying no to lockdowns, yes to freedom, no to the COVID tests, yes to food. These people are being withheld food, of course, because the CCP are tyrants, and that is how you can control a population. They're also saying and shouting out and chanting, open your eyes, look at the world. Dynamic zero COVID is a lie. The post-millennial has been all over this over the Thanksgiving weekend, Thanksgiving break. Brave people of China protest tyrannical COVID lockdowns, take down the CCP, take down Xi Jinping. We are seeing in a lot of this footage that is coming out, and this has all to do with the attempt to reach the zero COVID. Communist China policy that they've restored to the tyrannical and authoritarian measures, locking down citizens and instituting brutal restrictions on movement, causing citizens to rise up in protest. The Daily Mail also reported demonstrations have erupted in at least 7 cities, including Shanghai, Nanjing, Guangzhou, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, forgive me if I'm not, and the infamous Wuhan, the epicenter of this all. Shanghai has roughly 26 million residents and is the location of the largest protests so far, with many calling for the resignation of President Xi Jinping. Now, usually the authoritarians and those in power don't want imagery like that seen unless they're trying to spark some kind of false flag, accuse of an insurrection. Does that sound familiar? We've seen that in history. Demonstrations erupted due to the deaths of at least 12 people in an apartment building fire. The resident located in the Zhejiang region of the country was sealed shut, allegedly by the CCP officials to stop the spread of COVID. The fire, which happened on November 24th, 2022, found Chinese citizens locked in their homes and burned alive. All to stop the spread, right? Burned alive. I just want to give you guys a warning here. I'm going to show you the video. You hear people in the background that obviously are aware that there are people dying as they're watching this building burn to the ground. Take a look. Like I said, this is all to stop the spread, and we know that the commies have been doing this. I mean, Wuhan, Shanghai, CCP, they're keeping their people stuck in 2020, right? It's kind of like what North Korea does. There are people in North Korea that don't even know what year it is. There are people in North Korea that are literally living under the regime, that have been born under the regime, that don't even know that there are other places on planet Earth. This is the kind of stuff, okay? This is real tyranny. This is real communism. This is real authoritarianism. Well, what is the China's zero COVID policy? Under China's zero COVID policy, anybody who tests positive for the virus anywhere in China must be separated for all non-infected people, including family members with no expectations. This includes isolating children from their parents if they test positive and parents or guardians don't. Vaccine passports and licenses to allow movement throughout the city were also reportedly being checked by hazmat-suited authorities. And this is where the outrage came, and this is where all the footage has been coming out. I just want to go through a series of clips, and I want the freedom fighters to have their day. People will argue, Drew, you're showing these clips, the CCP is going to see them. They're probably going to get killed. I would argue that the majority of these people have probably been taken out by the CCP, but these people know this. Freedom fighters know this, and they're willing to put their lives on the line so that the world could see that they want freedom. Let's run this first clip of the Shanghai protesters chanting, "Take down the CCP and take down Xi Jinping" in Mandarin. Here's another clip of thousands of people. This was retweeted by Jack Posobiec. Thousands of people taken to the streets in Wuhan to protest. Take a look. So you get the picture. Obviously, there's way too many people if you're the CCP and you're an authoritarian. The biggest thing you fear is a mob of million of people that are demanding their freedom. So this is where things get pretty interesting. The CCP responded with drones. They responded with police dressed in hazmats. Here's where things got pretty gnarly, man. Take a look. So the CCP is kind of like using the equivalent to Fed boys, right? You know, the Fed boys that try and go undercover, and we kind of like obviously know that it's the Fed boys kind of wearing all the same clothes. They do the same thing. They have their undercover agents that are embedded with the freedom fighters and freedom protesters, and they begin to regulate and physically abuse them as well. I think we have another clip here with Chinese factory workers clashing with police against their COVID protocols. Take a look. That's just one of many clips that are all over social media right now, many confirmed clips of what's taking place in China with the freedom fighters rising against the CCP. Our thoughts and prayers go out to them, but you got a bunch of woke tards and morons like, Taylor Lorenz that are taking to Twitter and to the internet. Washington Post's Taylor Lorenz cheers on China's lockdowns as CCP violently cracks down on its own citizens. The Washington Post published an article about a COVID outbreak in China, which the CCP met with insanely strict lockdowns, such as wheeling residents into apartment buildings. Loser of a reporter, Taylor Lorenz, came out essentially in favor of deadly lockdowns and opposed the United States not enforcing harsh COVID restrictions themselves. Here's what she said. There is no lasting natural immunity to COVID. You can get over COVID over and over and over again because there are so many endlessly evolving strains and antibodies, Wayne. Also, choosing not to kill off millions of vulnerable people, as the U.S. is doing, isn't a critical flaw. In favor of China cracking down on the virus, cracking skulls, cracking people's lives and heads open, to stop the spread, Taylor Lorenz sits there and thinks, that's a good thing because that's saving lives. What an idiot, man. These people are stupid, dude. Like, what a disgrace to my generation, man. I don't claim this idiot. I don't claim this woke tard. These people are literally the reason why authoritarianism will be ushered into this country. Well, if you didn't think that was bad, Klaus Schwab has been all over the internet, of course, always talking about restructuring the World Economic Forum, globalist in chief, always talking about how we're going to restructure the world, restructure society. Here is Klaus Schwab again, the globalist in chief, on record, literally saying that China is the model for the rest of the world. Their authoritarianism, their tyranny, this is what Klaus Schwab thinks is a model for the rest of the world, while coming out and saying, but we need to be careful not to impose anything on people.
We have to go one step further. We have to have a strategic mood. We have to construct the world of tomorrow. It's a systemic transformation of the world. So we have to define how the world should look like, which we want to come out of this transformation period. I respect China's achievements, which are tremendous over the last over 40 years. I think it's a role model for many countries, but I think also we should leave it to each country to make its own decision what system it wants to adopt. And I think we should be very careful in imposing systems. But the Chinese model is certainly a very attractive model for quite a number of countries.
Yeah. authoritarianism is an attractive model, but we need to be careful not to, impose it on anybody. Yeah, give me a break. I mean, the war between Elon Musk and big tech and the rulers of the universe, as they see themselves, is amplifying, and it's amplifying fast day by day. He's already announced that there will be amnesty for people to come back for the platform that have been banned, not for breaking the law, or for any serious violations of the TOS. So we will see how many people actually come back on the platform. But you got people like Alyssa Milano coming out and giving her opinion, which she should, but she's an idiot and always ends up looking stupid because people call her out. Alyssa Milano ditches her Tesla to protest Elon Musk, buys car from company founded by Hitler. Wasn't aware of that. Here's the tweet. I gave back my Tesla. I bought the VW EV. Oh, good for you. Wow, burned. How cringe. I love it. I'm not sure how advertisers can buy space on Twitter, publicly traded companies' products being pushed in alignment with hate and white supremacy doesn't seem to be a winning business model. The Hodge twins clapped back and said, Volkswagen was literally founded by the Nazis and Hitler, clown face. And Elon, he responded as well. This is how dumb these people are. This is where the virtue signaling, it meets with reality. It's like, oh, I'm too good for Twitter because there's a bunch of hate and white supremacy, so I'm going to stick it to Elon and get rid of my Tesla and go buy a Volkswagen, an EV, by the way, because of climate change, and I'm going to lower my carbon footprint. Oh, but, Volkswagen is founded by the Nazis. Oh, yeah, but she's not going to go back on that one, because they're allowed to be Nazis, but, because no one calls them out. But that's why we are where we are, because now these people are getting called out for all their woke-tard garbage and stupid crap. Well, the war with Elon and big tech is definitely amplifying. Here's some news that's been recently taking place. Elon Musk tweeted that Apple has threatened to withhold Twitter from its Apple App Store, but won't tell us why. Now, that is not a surprise to me. To me, that makes sense. Why wouldn't they attempt to ban Twitter out of the App Store? I mean, they did it to Parler. If they've totally lost control of it, the next step is to ban Twitter out of the app stores because they've monopolized information. They've monopolized social media. So the next step for these people is if they cannot get Elon Musk under control, they will ban the app out of the App Store. You think these people won't do it? They banned a sitting U.S. president. They will ban they've banned Parler. They will ban Twitter as well. Well, it does seem that Elon Musk himself is anticipating this as well, because this broke over the weekend as well. Elon Musk says he will make an alternative phone if Apple and Google ban Twitter. A lot of people are calling it the E-phone, the X-phone. Nobody knows, but this is a step in the right direction. Will it become another monopolized system? I don't know, maybe, because a lot of people don't really trust Elon because he's saying things like freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach. So will we end up in the same place with another monopolized system where the public digital town square is in control of a billionaire? I'm thankful for him to be open to more free speech and bringing people back onto the platform. But I still don't like the comments of freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of reach. Like I said, we will see where Elon Musk lands when the government goes, when Big Brother goes full force against him to go after him, when the deep state gets mobilized, which that's all coming. The advertisers will attempt to control him. We will see if Apple goes forward and actually bans Twitter out of the App Store, Google as well. Is the next play to create the next phone, the next App Store, so people could have access to Twitter? Will that be successful? I think that's still to be known, and we will see. But I think that is definitely a step in the right direction. Another step in the right direction is that Antifa has been getting slaughtered all over Twitter. And I don't praise people getting banned on social media. I don't praise people, even if they're my enemies, even if they're my ops. For those of you that don't know what ops is, that's your opposition, my Antifa ops that have been sending me death threats for years, not just after the Rittenhouse trial, but when I would cover them and expose them undercover in 2020. The amount of death threats is just insane. And even if you're just like on the right, you're a conservative, these people threaten your life every day on social media. I don't praise them getting banned because I disagree with what they say. I'm praising them getting banned because these people are literal domestic terrorists. and they mobilize on the app and they threaten people's lives, and Twitter doesn't even acknowledge it. They just continue to allow it. But now we have multiple Antifa accounts getting systemically taken out for violence on the platform. Twitter bans Antifa collective Crime Inc., Crime Think, notorious for radicalizing militants towards violence, the Post-Millennial reports. And as well, violent far-left group Crime Think, which calls for arson attacks and political violence, was suspended from Twitter on Friday after Elon Musk started suspending accounts that call for violence. And there are two accounts. You talk about my Antifa ops. Chad Loader has been banned off of Twitter. Chad Loader is a Antifa political operative, militant out of Los Angeles, that is responsible for a lot of the attacks that have taken place on journalists on the ground. Arguably, when Kalen, our very own Frontlines reporter, got attacked in 2021-ish, Chad Loader attempted to dox him, attempted to dox me, reporters like Thomas Morales that have exposed these people on the ground. Antifa would just allow it. They would just allow it and not even take a look at it, but they would allow it because they were all on the same side. Another prominent Antifa account out of Los Angeles is Vish Singhal. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name, but he's VPS Reports on Twitter. This is another violent individual that has he's literally calling for civil war like days ago. We reported this, right? You guys remember I reported Vish on his own Twitter account after the shootings in Colorado with zero information coming out, which the shooter ended up identifying as non-binary, by the way, and using they, them pronouns. But this guy, Vish, without any information, took to Twitter and started calling for a civil war and for Antifa to arm up and start going after their political opponents. And Twitter doesn't do anything, but now the new Twitter is, because just like America, you can't be running around shouting threats of violence at individuals that you disagree with. Now, like I said, I just got to make myself clear. I don't praise these guys getting banned for free speech. That's not why they were banned. These people are violent Antifa militant individuals that were a part of the 2020 orchestrated riots and people and journalists getting attacked on the ground in 2020, 2021. You can even see the footage. They post footage of themselves doing this kind of stuff on the ground, especially in Los Angeles. Antifa was also attempting to mobilize at several different Tesla locations in an attempt to threaten Elon Musk. Let me ask you a question, okay? Is it really a good idea to threaten a guy that's a multi-billionaire? You know, that has the ability to launch a satellite in the sky with Starlink, own his own internet. A guy that's planning to go to Mars on his own without the help predominantly by the federal government, doing it by his own dime, his own time, his own power, his own wealth. Does Antifa really think it's going to go well for them going after a man like that? Obviously, they're not getting banned because they have different views. They're getting banned because they're violent. They're the real violent ones. They're the real authoritarians. They're the ones that go after anyone, even if you identify as like a Democrat in 2022 that just simply doesn't agree with conservatives. These people view you as a threat and they will hurt you, and they need to be dealt with like this, not to ban them because we have a disagreement, but because they're violent individuals. This is the new energy on Twitter. We will see if this continues, and I still want to see people that have not been brought back to life on the Twitter, because if Elon is for free speech, he's got to be free speech for everybody. Pray for those that are fighting against the CCP. Pray for the patriots and the freedom fighters that are standing against tyranny. And we got our own problems here as well. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining me tonight. My name is Drew Hernandez. These are the front lines. I will see you guys on the next one.
We must play offense. Game on.
You expect the rest of the world to live in La La Land. We're not.
We've been saying these things from day one.
Our solemn vow to you: be good, be brief, be gone.
You might find yourself changing your opinion on things you never even thought twice about. That really sets America apart.
You are not ready for season 2. This is Reloaded.
My life tale and my truth has been to fight socialism.
Are you familiar with structural racism?
Yeah, it's a myth.